Welcome back to a new video. In today's session, I wish to delve into what is happening in international affairs right now, especially with regards to the war between Israel and Iran, its ramifications in the Middle East, and how would it affect vis-a-vis India. So that's the topic of the discussion. So you know that very recently we had a skirmish between India and Pakistan, a small exchange of like arms and fires in between. India was able to destroy quite a few bases, air bases like Noor Khan Air Base of Pakistan. Although it died down, the Middle East was still boiling. Israel had attacked Iran, and Iran has also counterfired a few missiles. But many of the Iranian nuclear scientists, as well as top commanders, had been killed by the Israeli drone strike. So now what I'm going to put across is, if you look at the map of the Middle Eastern region, first of all, one thing I wanted to point out is like why Iran is feeling vulnerable and why Iran is feeling left out there. It's primarily because Iran is a Shia country, and the Gulf Cooperation Council, the other countries, are basically Arab as well as Sunni, right? So I'll just put across the difference between like Shia and Sunni. Then I will come into why there is such a kind of a rivalry, and if in case America intervenes and if Iran gets a hit or if there is a regime change in Iran, who would be benefited more? So this will be discussed in the course of this video. So first of all, I will just point out what's the difference between Sunni and Shia. So it happened after the death of the Prophet Muhammad. That is, he was also the first caliph of the Islamic world. There was a power succession, right? One group wanted his father-in-law, that is Abu Bakr Siddiq, to be the next caliph. Another wanted his son-in-law as well as his cousin, that was Ali. So a group watched for Ali with the notion that it's the bloodline that has to proceed, and the other group which vouched for the Sunnis, which was the group which went for Abu Bakr Siddiq, they said like a Shura council will decide based on the ability. So that is, so Shiat Ali, that is how the Shia word came. Okay, so so if you can see that in the Islamic world, at least around 85% do follow the Sunni ideology. Like for example, in India also we have religious seminaries like Darul Ulum Deoband, which had some way influenced Taliban. They are all following Sunni ideology. But at the same time, even in the Deccan region, we have a very high element of Shia ideology there. Even at the time of Aurangzeb, there were quite a few Deccani kingdoms which followed this Shia ideology. So it's like bloodline. So Shia Muslims, you can say it's very similar to their hierarchy, and the top supreme leader is the Ayatollah Ali Khomeini, that is right now the supreme leader of Iran. So he is like a pope figure for the entire Shia Muslims. Okay, so due to this Shia Sunni rivalry, just like the Protestant Catholic wars that happened in Europe in the 16th centuries, the same thing is some way rallying out in the Middle East. That's the reason why Saudi Arabia and Iran cannot see eye to eye, although they follow same religion, same prophet, same Quran, everything. But at the same time, due to this difference in ideology, there is always a war and tussle. That's the reason why Iran was left alone, and with its proxies, Iran had always been fighting against Israel as well as the West. So right now what I will point out is like, let's wind the clock a little bit backward. From 1980 to 88, there used to be the Iran-Iraq war. Okay, and that time what used to happen is it was kind of a stalemate, but Iran as well as Iraq, they were both kind of a little bit fragile. But Iran, at the same time, it somewhat due to its peculiar leadership and a lot of mineral resources, it flourished. But after around 2003, during the time of Iraq war and the ouster of Saddam Hussein, there was a power vacuum there because Iran's power was counterbalanced by Iraq. Once Iraq is gone, what is there left? Iran became a prominent power, prominent regional superpower there. So with its tentacles, it began to attack Israel more. That's the reason why you see the Shia militia, that's Hezbollah, that is attacking Israel. Even though Hamas is Sunni, there is an ample help from Iran. Although Hamas doesn't allow Iran to interfere in its leadership, but still the moral as well as ethical and even the material help of Iran is there. So then, if you look into the Yemen, the Houthis, they are also Shia rebels funded by Iran, and the Houthis are rallying against the Saudis. So Saudis want Iran to be smashed. So if in case, just say that if America also joins the fray, if a combined force of America and Israel, Iran doesn't stand a chance, there can be a regime change, and if a Shah there are like till 1970 when Iran was ruled by Shah, it's a like a monarchy, and his successors are still there in exile in many other places, and there is an very prominent resistance movement within the Iran, especially after that Mahsa Amini and that like hijab issues and all. So, if such a regime change happens, who will get benefited? That's a question. So, we always learn history to learn lessons from history, from the past, and in a way, how the future can be predicted. So, here my analysis is if there is a regime change, the greatest beneficiary in that region will be Pakistan, because even India has a very good relation with comparatively good relation with Iran, because it's not a relation by with heart, but it's of mind, because geopolitically that's a force that counterbalances Pakistan. Pakistan is a Sunni country, Iran is a Shia country, and they have differences of interest as well, right? But if the power of Iran is vanished, first of all, the Pakistan will become a prominent regional power there, and its enmity with India. At the same time, we always know that we have a counterbalance in Pakistan in the form of Baluch Liberation Army, and Baluchistan Liberation Army, and the Baluchistan is having a good support in that Iranian region, because there is a Sistan region that is close to the Baluchistan, is somewhat a kind of a strategic hideout for the Baluchis. So if Iran regimes fails, the Pakistan can arm twist that area, and it can some way quell the Baluch rebellion, and the military junta of the Pakistan will get more powerful. So in some way, what I would feel is, even though it may be of different interest for Israel and America, this war, if the regime change of Iran happens, it will be a little bit tougher time for India in the longer run, because of a more resurgent Pakistan. So this is my analysis. It can be wrong. Let the history prove it. But let's see how things turn out. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.